Last Friday, Raya and the Last Dragon was released both into theaters and onto Disney Plus with premiere access. So today I'll be giving you my thoughts on the film as well as how it ranks with the other films produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Gabriel and I love to rank movies. If you can relate, consider hitting that subscribe button, and please know that everything I say about these movies is just my opinion, but I would love to see yours down in the comment section. And just to clarify, I'm ranking every single movie released from 2009 to 2021 that was also produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios, meaning everything from Princess and the Frog to Raya and the Last Dragon, and let's get started. Now, coming in last place is The Princess and the Frog. Everything is just meh, a typical Disney princess movie for me, and one of the most forgettable Disney movies. I've seen it a few times, and I still barely remember it. I really just could not get into the story or characters, and everything was just bland and something I never really want to rewatch. I wouldn't say it follows the original story badly, but let's be honest, it can't even do that very well. In 10th place is unfortunately Raya and the Last Dragon. Overrated. I mean, come on, it's good. I don't like it that much, and I have no interest in watching it again. The trailers didn't even interest me, and what I got was just an extended version of the trailer trying to be emotional. Honestly, the animation doesn't even stick out to me. In a world of great animation, this is just kind of the same. I'm not saying the animation is bad, it's actually really good, but it just doesn't stick out. It's an entertaining film, and that's the best thing I can say about it. The cast for me is just bad, however. Kelly Marie Tran, who is the person that plays the most annoying character in all of Star Wars, Rose, was kind of just okay as Raya. She didn't give a bad performance at all, it was just mediocre. Awkwafina was better than Kelly Marie Tran, but Awkwafina was still pretty annoying. I can't deny, she did have some hilarious moments though. Speaking of hilarious, this movie was pretty funny. I laughed at it a couple times, but when will studios know that fart jokes are not funny? There are so many in this movie, and it just comes off as embarrassing for Disney. I also really don't like the setting and aesthetic of this film. I actually don't like many movies with this setting. I've been pretty negative about this movie, but that's not to say it's not good. It has some pretty good action, and like I said, there was one particular joke that was absolutely hilarious. Overall, this movie is just okay, and never really interested me like it did for a lot of people. In 9th place is actually going to be Frozen. Okay, so this is not a bad film at all, in fact, and I don't really have anything against it. I have just simply seen it way too many times, and I am just completely tired of it. Everything else is actually pretty good. You're probably surprised that I like this film, but I do. The Disney animation films just have some really good movies, and having Frozen this low is even surprising to me. It's actually a hilarious movie, and Olaf is just one of the best side characters ever in my opinion. Frozen is one of the most memorable Disney movies, and it's good. Just good. Next up in 8th place, I have Winnie the Pooh. This is the film on this list that Disney really did not need to make. It's actually not that bad. I kind of like it, but did they really need to make it? It's one of Disney's last hand-drawn animated movies, and to be honest, I'm kind of sad they let that style of animation go. It looks really good. But really, you can't go wrong with a good old Winnie the Pooh story. All the characters are great, like you would expect, and I don't know why, but this film is, really short. It's about 1 hour and 9 minutes with a theatrical release, and that is just incredibly short. But I think the runtime fits with the film because you don't want a Winnie the Pooh film to be over 2 hours. I'm not the hugest fan of this film, and that's probably because I'm not the target audience, but it's actually pretty good for a Winnie the Pooh theatrically released film. Then in 7th place is Moana. Moana has some of the best animation I have ever seen, not even lying. The water and aesthetic is just beautifully animated, and that's easily my favorite thing about this movie. Dwayne Johnson plays Maui. He is top-notch from start to finish. It was an obvious casting, but still a good pick for the character. Also, the songs in this film are catchy, along with the great dialogue to go along with the film. Moana has some pretty big problems, but that doesn't stop the fact that this is an enjoyable watch. In sixth place, I have Ralph Breaks the Internet. Okay, so I'm going to start out by saying that this film has a horrible title. Wreck-It Ralph was clever, but this just makes me cringe. Ralph Breaks the Internet is actually a strong sequel, though it does not have quite the same heart and compact plot as the first film. A lot of the cameos and Easter eggs in this film are really great. The characters are fine, but everything else isn't amazing. I enjoyed this film, and I do actually like it, but the plot just goes everywhere, and I don't know what it is really trying to be. It's not a bad film at all. In fact, I actually really like it, like I said. But compared to the first, there's a pretty substantial quality gap. Kicking off the top 5 is Wreck-It Ralph. This is where we start getting amazing movies on this list. Wreck-It Ralph has heart and emotion of classic Disney, along with the modern day animation, action, and humor. The plot is one of the most creative plots I've ever seen. The movie is just about a fake video game with cameos from real video game characters, and it is just really fun and heartwarming. John C. Reilly gives an amazing performance as Wreck-It Ralph himself, who's very funny too. All of that combined with the well-executed moral are good reasons to check Wreck-It Ralph out if you haven't already. In fourth place, I have Zootopia. The detail put into Zootopia's animation is just incredible, and while it may not be as good as Moana's, it is definitely up there. Though I do think Zootopia is a better movie compared to Moana. In Zootopia, there are no limits to what you can be, and it says your biological species doesn't define your destiny. This made it even more entertaining while watching a struggling lead character persevering through the hardship. It's a nicely structured story coupled with hilarious scenes that made this film even more enjoyable than it already was. Winning the bronze medal is Frozen 2. To be honest, I do not understand the hate for this film at all. Frozen 2 is pretty amazing, and it features the best song out of all the Disney animation movies, being Lost in the Woods. But I can't really say there was one song that was bad in this film. This film has some of the best comedy in all animated movies for me, and like I said before, Olaf is just a hilarious character. I thought it was a great sequel as the story developed more and brought new characters to life that keeps me engaged as it goes. It's not some rehash of the original Frozen, it's a true sequel that manages to somehow become even better than the first. My runner-up is Tangled. I absolutely love Tangled, and it's not even number 1. Tangled is just a masterpiece. Once again, if you don't know me, you're probably surprised I love this movie so much. And if you do know me, you're probably still surprised. I wouldn't call it one of my favorite movies of all time, but that does not cover up the fact that it is amazing. For me, it has some of the best songs of all of the Disney animation movies. It just has a lot of really memorable songs that sometimes I can find myself humming to. I also absolutely love the performances in this film, especially Zachary Levi's as Flynn Rider. The comedy in this film is actually pretty perfect, and Tangled is just hilarious. It also has great action with a lot of laughs that make it even more enjoyable. But in first place is Big Hero 6. Now I know a lot of people like this film, but for a lot of people it's not their favorite film out of the Disney animation films. But for me, that's a different story. Big Hero 6, I just absolutely adore it. And you may not know, but it's actually a Marvel film. Not MCU, just Marvel in general. And trust me, it has all of the comedy and action any Marvel film has. For me, it's probably the most emotional and saddest film produced by Disney Animation Studios, but Disney just managed to mix all of the themes together, and I love it. It stands out among the other films I'm ranking, and it deserves to do so. The characters, animation, action, and literally everything is great, and that is why Big Hero 6 takes the number 1 spot.